Had a few breakdowns. Obviously, South Carolina is they're a load. You know, no one's been able to crack them this year, and you know, I think what they were able to do today can be consistent with what they've done well. They do a great job on the boards. They get the ball inside. They were able to make some threes today, especially in that third quarter, that I thought really helped their run. But you know, I think our team will. I think we can learn from this. I really do. And you know, I liked our effort. We want to build on that, and you know, just try to find a way to make a few less mistakes the next time out.
We'll go to questions now. We'll take our first one from Maria and then Cora, and let's begin with the players, please.
Caroline, you're just a sophomore, and you went up against basically a National Player of the Year in Aaliyah Boston. What can you take from a game? Because I know the last game as a freshman, you didn't get a whole lot of minutes. You played quite a few in this game. What do you learn in a game like this going forward?
Yeah, I mean, all credit to Aaliyah. I think that even being in high school, I've always watched her play and loved watching her play. And actually getting to go against her was just something that I was really looking forward to, and just really was preparing myself coming up to this game, just knowing that I needed to keep her off her spot and just hold her off for as many rebounds as I could. And I think that I was just really excited to get this opportunity, and just credit to my teammates for what they did to help me down there. It was fun.
Rakia, you really jump-started that run in the fourth quarter to cut the lead to 8. Just looked like you had just another level of fight. What was going through your mind in that moment, and what kind of drove you, even though you guys were down 15?
Just my teammates, you know, like they always give me the ball in my spots, and, you know, them hitting shots, you know, I'm telling them, shoot it, you know, coming off the screen, Carol, shoot it. Like, I know we can make those shots, and just seeing the score, like, at the end of the day, like, I just want to win. So just that just really lit a fire under me, and we'll be okay, though.
Either for Rakia or Caroline, what were you seeing from their defense that was so hard to break through, especially late in that second quarter and in the third quarter as well?
I mean, I think that it's no surprise that they're lengthy, and I think that they really capitalized on just guarding well. They saw what we were doing, and they kind of took that away, and I think that just all credit to them for, like, adjusting and putting their best players in position to guard.
Rakia, in warm-ups and pregame, this was about as loose and as focused as I've seen this team this season. Just what would the mood going in? It seemed like y'all were ready. Can y'all tap into that? I mean, it's a long season. We all know that. You got one game on the road in the SEC and then postseason. Can y'all tap into how you started that game going forward?
For sure. We're just going to build off this game, you know. I feel like we have another level to us, and I really believe that. And we showed that tonight, but, you know, we just have to cut down on the little things, capitalize off the little things, because, you know, we did get great defensive stops, you know, but we wasn't coming down, capitalizing off of that, and they did. So I feel like that was the difference in tonight's loss. But I feel like we definitely know what we need to take, what steps we need to take forward, but I feel like we're not going to, like, you know, revert back. Like, if anything, we're going to build off of it. So I think we will definitely have that next game. So.
Caroline, that run in the fourth, it just felt like it was a statement of you can't break Tennessee. You know, you were down 18 going into the fourth, cut it to 8. What's your perspective on that, and where this team is mentally and not backing down even when it's kind of crunch time?
Well, thank you for saying that. Coach Kelly actually said in the timeout before we went to the fourth, she said this is the time to define who we are as a team. Even though it's late in the season, we're going against the #1 team, and I feel like we just gave it our all for our teammates. Also knowing that it's our last game on this floor with our seniors, I felt like it was just a statement that we're making that we can play in there, we can hold them to 14, we can hold them to 10. We just got to lock in for all 4 quarters and make sure that we do that every play.
For both players, as I mentioned earlier, it is a long season, and the regular season does finally come to a close Sunday at Kentucky. How do you just sort of learn from this, but put it aside and go up to Kentucky and kind of end this regular season the way you want to?
I think that coming off a loss, it's always really evident when a team is playing, practicing. There's always that extra fire to win. So I think that we just got to build off this. We got to come out focused, like you said, in warm-ups right off the bat, and we got to just build each quarter and just really play our game and make sure that we're locked in.
Yeah, I agree. Having that fire after a loss is always, something that we look forward to. But I'm just really proud of this team. Like, there was so many times where we could have just gave up. We could have came in scared, but we really didn't. We came out like they were any other team on that court. And I'm just proud of our fight at the end of the day. And I feel like we're going to do really big and great things.
Rukia, the rebounding battle was certainly a challenge tonight. What do you feel like you can take away from your guys's? I know you guys held them to 48, which is they've had as much as 59 before. But like, what needs to, I guess, improve for you guys? What can you take away from that board battle tonight?
Being relentless. I know there was times, like me personally, like, I would let someone box me out instead of going around. So just little things like that, like, chasing down the ball, being a ball hawk. And like I said, just really being relentless for the ball. We know they were a very tall, lengthy team, but at the end of the day, like, we got to go out there like no one can box us out, and we can box y'all out. So we just got to have that mentality going forward.
Right. Thank you, Rukia and Caroline.
Thank you.
Good job.
Questions for Coach? We'll begin with Maria and then Chloe.
Coach, it felt like that was 3 or 4 games in one basketball game, the way that ebbed and flowed. Getting out of the gate, you couldn't have really asked for a better start. The second quarter, just where did the breakdowns happen?
Yeah, obviously, you look, it's twofold, right? And it's all related. We gave up too many points, and we didn't score enough. Now, obviously, you have the box score, but it's related. You give up a bucket, you're not pushing in transition, right? You don't get the score, so you don't get set defensively. It all works together, and I think because of that, we lost our pace a little bit in the second quarter, and then we had a few offensive boards, and I mean, we looked so excited to get them that we just threw the ball over the basket. So you got to be able to settle and focus to finish in those moments. So, when I talked about cleaning up mistakes, well, that's part of it. You get layups, you get shots around the basket. You've got to make them in a game like this. You've got to make them.
Chloe, Ryan, and then Cora.
You all have kept close with and, been so competitive with these top-ranked teams despite losing these games. And a lot of these games could have gone another way, a better way for you guys, could have easily gone a better way. Do you feel that your all's win-loss record is indicative of this team? And what would you say to those who are maybe seeing just the final score versus the good things that this team did within the game?
Yeah, I think if you watch the game, there were so many ebbs and flows to the game. You could have been impressed with some things that we did, and then maybe not so much in the middle of it. So, and in terms of the record and who we are, I mean, I do think it's important to watch us to define who we are and seeing where we can go. We had an unbelievably tough schedule, and we didn't get the top wins that we were hoping to get. We just didn't get those. But I don't think that makes us a bad team by no stretch of the imagination. I think we're still a talented team. We're a team that needs to be you just got to take things one more level to get that win, and that's the growth that we're still looking for.
Kelly, Rukia just touched on it a little bit, but what did you see in the rebounding differential, especially when trying to limit South Carolina on the offensive end?
Yeah, well, I think we had some schematic issues there in the first half. When you're sagging off of folks, which we were doing, you're maybe not guarding them as tight, and then unfortunately, we weren't boxing them out because we weren't there on them. So We did a better job as the game went on with that. We had some opportunities to have a few more box outs, missed them, and then they just went and got some that there's not a whole lot we could do about it. I do think we left some out there on the offensive end for us. Rakia mentioned it a little bit, being able to have a little bit more effort. So we'll look at that with our team and see if we can find a few more on the offensive end for us.
Cora and then Jeremiah.
Kelly, it felt like the momentum in the fourth, when you guys cut it to 8, it was just teetering back and forth. Caroline had a really big charge. What needs to happen for your team to be able to kind of seize the game in that moment?
Yeah, we did. We had some momentum, but they were scoring during a lot of our momentum in the fourth, and we had some breakdowns. We just had some, like to say, busted coverages at that time, and you cannot have those mistakes at that time, and then obviously at the same time, then Boston I think scored a couple there. She's going to do that. So you've got to be great in every other area because they're going to still make plays. But they hit, I think they hit a couple tough jumpers during that stretch as well, where we're making a run and we're really fighting, and they kept scoring.
Jeremiah, Zach, Casey, and then Emily.
Coach, kind of going off of that a little bit, for South Carolina, Kiera Fletcher hadn't been, I guess, much of a scorer throughout the season, and she kind of got a rhythm with the jump shots. Just what kind of added dynamic did that kind of give them as the game?
Well, that changed the game. Fletcher changed the game. So, you go in and you play with your stats, you play with how things have gone. You've seen other teams, you've watched them play. And I'm going into the game, the one comment I said was, we don't need a non-shooter to become a shooter today for South Carolina. And, obviously she hit a couple threes, knocked down jumpers, put points on the board when they needed them. And her play was big today.
Zach.
Kelly, especially early on, what was working inside the paint on both ends of the floor, especially on defense, really just kind of running them out to the perimeter?
Well, I thought our game plan was solid. I thought we did a good job knowing what our game plan was to start the game, made things difficult. They missed shots. They weren't getting good rhythm shots. And we were able to get some boards early and move to the other end. And in the first half, we were able to get some transition opportunities or some secondary type opportunities. Playing downhill quite a bit. So I thought early on that's where we were doing a good job in the paint on both ends.
Casey.
What made you proud of this team in that fourth quarter when they were able to try and chip away at South Carolina's lead? Obviously, you weren't able to fully get in front, but what really made you proud of their ability then?
Yeah, I challenged them going into the fourth to come out and have that fight, and they did, and they made plays. And didn't have a quit, and I think that's important. I didn't expect it, did not expect it, but in addition to that, I wanted to see some toughness, and I thought we were able to see some of that throughout the game. I told them I could work with that. I can work with the effort, and I can work with the toughness, and they've got to help me with the execution.
Emily, then Maria.
South Carolina threw a lot of different lineup combos and looks at you guys. Just how much of a challenge, is that to prepare for, coming into the game, and how do you kind of go about adjusting to that in game?
Yeah, we didn't overthink that one too much. There were maybe a couple of lineups that we ended up substituting to match some size, but overall we just knew what the game plan was going to be regardless of the lineup, because we knew how we were going to play individuals. And I think our team did a good job knowing the scouting report.
Maria, and then Cora.
Coach, Jordan Horston ends up with a double-double, but I know she could visibly frustrated with how some of the things were going. She's somebody that takes it so hard, and you need her to bounce back quickly. If you could just comment a little bit about getting her, back where she needs to be. And then at Kentucky, their senior day, last game of the regular season, just how do y'all approach that game?
Yeah. Well, obviously Jordan's very competitive, as so many of our players are, and you have to take it for what it's worth. You have to hurt it's okay to hurt. I need them to hurt, actually, right now. And then you need to wake up renewed and ready to go tomorrow. It's just basketball. You know, it's the life we it's the life we live. You know, you want it to hurt, and you got to learn from it and move on. They don't punch pause and let you figure things out, and then punch play again when you're ready. It's go. I know it'll be a challenge on Sunday. You know, anytime you're playing someone on their senior day, or even at home, or at this point anybody in the SEC, it's going to be a challenge, and we know that. And so we've got to be able to turn this around quickly and make sure that, you know, we have the focus that we need. One thing that I've been really proud of, our athletic training staff's done a great job getting our players back ready for not just games, but for practices. So our recovery's been great. We want to make sure that we're ready to go on Sunday in terms of how they feel. Probably have a film session, and then practice to get ready tomorrow. And I'll probably go a little bit light with them, and but maybe try to address some things that we needed to do better here.
We'll close with Cora.
Kelly, only 9 turnovers tonight, which is only 2 more than South Carolina had. How key is that for you guys, and how, I guess, to build off of now?
Yeah, I think it's important that, I thought it was important going in that we take care of the basketball, and because obviously a transition team like South Carolina can turn turnovers into points really quickly. So we did a pretty good job there with our numbers, I think 10-9, so pretty evenly matched there. So that's a good step for us to continue to work through. You know, now we just have to, you've got to keep that, you know, you don't need to, we do not need to be a high turnover team. Maybe, you know, some teams can survive that. I think for us, when we're aggressive, when we share the basketball and we're low turnover, we just flow a lot better.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.